Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host, Flavia Barris, as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media, including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur.
Hey, Lifestyle Solopreneurs. Today we get to speak with Mario Lanzarotti. He is a high-performance coach, TEDx speaker with nearly 1 million views and conscious leader. He is focused on helping entrepreneurs make more money in half the time through building an unstoppable mindset. From CEOs to Olympians and mission-driven entrepreneurs, Mario helps high achievers all across the world gain the mental clarity and focus that is necessary to achieve what would normally take years, and he can make you do it in 6 months or even less. Today, Mario travels the world on a mission to raise the consciousness of humanity through his master classes on conscious leadership and next-level mindsets. Mario, welcome to the show.
Flavia, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I think we're going to have a powerful conversation.
Absolutely. I love your energy. I love what you bring to the table. So tell us a little bit about how you ended up as a high-performance coach.
Sure. So my journey started off in corporate Germany. I was on my way to becoming a pilot. I was part of the pilot training school academy in Germany for Lufthansa and went into the career and fell into a severe depression with debilitating chronic back pain that led me to a place of contemplating suicide for about 2 weeks. And you could say that I hit absolute rock bottom. And for me at the time, it was a do or die kind of situation. I didn't have any sort of tools on how to deal with what I was facing. And for me, I had this one big belief that is, if I give up on this career, I am a life failure and my life is over essentially. And so I didn't share with anybody what I was going through at the time. I would just tell people that, hi, it's super stressful and I'll get through this eventually. And then one day through divine intervention, on a very dark day, I don't know what I typed in, but on YouTube, somehow I got to Tony Robbins and Les Brown. And something inside of me just kept saying, keep watching, because I had a lot of doubts because being born and raised in Germany, motivational speaking and coaching at the time wasn't a thing. It was very much, you had to be a psychologist to even talk about these things. But I was so captivated by what Tony Robbins and Les Brown were sharing that something started to shift within my mind. And the thing that started shifting finally gave me the courage and the hope to say, I'm struggling, I need help, and this is not what I want to do with my life. And so the principles that I learned from Tony Robbins and Les Brown, I started to apply to my own life. And I went from miserable to almost ending my life to then coming back fully and finding my life's purpose after I went studying business management in Berlin. Then I went to New York. I co-founded a startup, a custom shoe company. And on the side, I was sort of sharing my story of how I overcame that severe depression. And I was sharing it with students because I told myself that one day I too would help people free themselves from the thoughts and feelings that are holding them back in life. And so this was a passion project, you could say, that over time morphed into a business. And yeah, in a nutshell, it was my own suffering that helped me find the solutions that I now get to share with the world that transform people's lives.
And how would you define high performance? What does that mean to you?
To me, high performance is not just producing results and doing it consistently, but to me, high performance is living in alignment with your true potential, which means that you get to tap into the kind of resources within yourself that allow you to be, as the classical saying goes, that allow you to be your best self, which means you are present in life, which means you have rich relationships, which means you're happy, you're healthy, you're focused. And you really get to participate in life fully because there's a lot of talk about personal development, about high performance and how you get to create the best results. But what most people don't talk about is the way that people create these results. And oftentimes I see high performance at the expense of your well-being. And to me, that really defies the purpose. So to me, it's living in alignment with your true potential.
And do you think after what we've been through in recent history, right, in recent times, the pandemic and just everything that happened with that was sort of unexpected for, I would think, most everybody, did that really, do you think that affected people in a very negative way where they need this more now than ever?
I think we're coming to a point to where people are required to make a choice. And many people in the world are living life sort of like, I can do this tomorrow. It's not that bad. And if we look at the world that we live in, we have mastered the art of numbing ourselves, right? Through television, through porn, through drugs, through food, you name it. And so I think we're now coming to a pivotal moment in time where we no longer have the luxury to just procrastinate and postpone our true calling in life. And I think a lot of people woke up, a lot of people realized that it's them. And quite frankly, I think the reason we got to the place where we're at is because people are not taking responsibility for their lives. Because, we've had viruses since humanity exists. It's a part of our natural evolution. But I think what's not been focused on is people not taking responsibility for their lives. And now we're at this point where a lot of people are forced to look at themselves and say, I need to take responsibility, or things are going to get a lot worse for them.
And so when people come to you for coaching, do you find that there's a commonality, that there's a thread that runs through all of their stories that might be similar? Or, are people just truly all over the board and come to you with all sorts of different backgrounds and stories and issues and challenges?
Yeah, a great question. So I think the majority of people that come to me simply by the nature of the way that I show up is they want more. They want more out of life. And generally, they have a business. I work mostly with entrepreneurs and business owners. They have a business and they want to grow the business. And they find that somehow they get in the way of creating the kind of business growth that they want. Now, the moment they open the door with me, the conversations quickly shift away from what does your product look like? What does your service look like? What does your marketing strategy look like to how are you? How are you feeling? What's going on in your life? And, there's something that I bring to pretty much every client conversation, and it's the law of open cycles. So and for every listener right now, I invite you to do this as well, look at your computer browser. How many tabs do you have open? The average entrepreneur, chances are they have a lot of tabs open, somewhere between 10 and 20. And that is because we live in this age where we are overloaded by information, which means the mind is constantly dealing with so many different tasks. So what happens when the computer browser has too many tabs open? When there's too many tabs open, the computing power of the computer significantly decreases, which then means you're burning out, which then means you cannot focus, which then means you're no longer making quality decisions, but you're making quantity decisions, meaning you make as many decisions as possible because you think taking more action is going to get you better results. But the truth of the matter is, the higher you climb up the ladder of entrepreneurial success, the more you are required to make quality decisions. So with this law of open cycles, I help them take inventory over what's going on in their life that they haven't been addressing. And that could be tasks that they've been pushing away. That could be relationships where they have conflict. That could be even with themselves where they have overcommitted. The typical high performer commits to too many things. Start of the new year, okay, I'm going to get a personal trainer. I'm going to go meditate every single day. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to double my revenue. So many commitments. And then what ends up happening is you start committing to all of them, but then a week, a month goes by, and all of a sudden your commitments go down. But your mind takes notice. Your mind is like, hey, you said you were going to do that. So there's an erosion of trust, and there's an altogether a fogginess happening in your mind, which means your performance and the results that you're creating is greatly inhibited.
And as far as like tools, techniques, hacks, everyone's kind of always looking for that one thing that will make everything else, happen for them to fall into line. They're like looking for that one software, that one calendar app, whatever it is. Do you have a list of like a top 2 or 3 of these kinds of techniques or hacks or even software that you tend to recommend to people?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I'm not a software or technology person at all. I'm super simple, super old school when it comes to these things. But there are some tools that I recommend pretty much to any entrepreneur or business owner that will radically improve their life. Number 1, breath work. Breath work is such a powerful tool because the way we breathe controls the way we feel. most of us breathe very much up in close to our chest, right? Very much higher up, closer to the neck. And so what that does, it means we are missing out on a lot of oxygen. We're missing out on a lot of capacity that we can be using. Oftentimes, if you think about this, when you're feeling anxious or when you're feeling very stressed out, your breath tends to be very shallow, tends to be very chest focused. So when you focus on breathing into the diaphragm and more into the belly, you have a greater capacity, which means now you get to feel differently. And when you get to feel differently over consistent amounts of time, guess what? Your behavior changes and that creates better results. So conscious breathing, literally 2-3 minutes, one at a time. I like to do this every 30 to 60 minutes. I like to take a break and just breathe and sit for 4 to 5 minutes. Just breathing through the nose and out through the nose into the belly and slowing down. It will be a game changer for you. So that's number one. Number two goes hand in hand with the breath work, and that is to slow down. We are living in a society where we are so fast paced. We're always chasing the next thing. What's the next thing? But what ends up happening is because we take on so much speed is we no longer see the opportunities that are right in front of us. So I'll give you an example. One of my clients, he's an agency owner. He's well into the six figures. He came to me. He wanted to scale his business. And first thing that I asked him is like, tell me about your ideal client. And then he goes off on a tangent. He's like, yeah, I got these clients that I'm working with and it's terrible and so stressful. I'm like, well, tell me about the clients you love working with. And he's like, I got this one client. He is perfect. I just want more clients like that. And I asked him, have you asked him for referrals? And he's like, no. I was like, why not? He's like, oh, that's a great question. I don't know. And so what we got to was that he's picking up so much speed that he just doesn't see the simple, obvious things. So what he ended up doing is asked that one client for 2 referrals, and he got $50,000 in business within 3 days. That's how simple it is. So breath work and slowing down, those two tools will take you miles.
Okay, listeners, be honest. Listening to that, who took some deep breaths up into your belly while you were listening? Because I think it's one of those reminders, like when someone says to you, relax your shoulders, and you drop them and you're like, I didn't realize they weren't relaxed, until you hear it. To kind of piggyback on that, I'm someone who needs someone to sort of tap on my shoulder and tell me, hey, drop your shoulders or take some breaths. And I actually set timers on my watch. So I guess that is maybe a tech tip, right? Is I have a smartwatch and it'll even say, take your vitamins, and I'll just hit snooze if I need to at the moment, but I won't hit stop or disregard or whatever, dismiss until I've taken those vitamins, right? So yeah, do what you need to do to keep this kind of thing top of mind, but it is part of self-care. And something as easy as breathing, that is self-care. My other tip on breathing though is everybody wants to suck in their stomach and look slim and look fit, but you can't suck in your stomach and breathe deep down into your belly at the same time. So you're going to have to let go a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about sort of your mix of clients, because I know you help CEOs and Olympians, sports figures, and also entrepreneurs. Do you find that you're kind of pretty evenly divided, or are most of your clients on the executive type track? Are most of them athletes? Or are you just really, truly kind of balanced there?
I would say in the later years, it has shifted greatly towards entrepreneurs, mostly solopreneurs. I do have now many of them actually developed. One of my clients, he started out in the basement of his parents. Now he runs 2 7-figure agencies. And all of a sudden, he's no longer the guy who works by himself. Now he has a team of like 15 plus people. And so things have changed. But I would say that most of the people that I work with are the owners of the companies, call themselves CEOs, doesn't really matter, but smaller companies where I get to really make a bigger impact. Because what's important for me is when I work with a business owner, with a founder, is I want to make sure that what I teach them, what I guide them to see is what they pass on to their employees. Because to me, it's important that we make a ripple effect happen. And that can only happen when the owner, the person that I coach, embodies the principles that I bring forward.
And what's next for you in your business? When you have your own goals and dreams and visions for the future, what is big and shiny on there that you're working on?
So at the moment, I just actually launched a new business accelerator called 6 Figure Zen. And it brings together the principles on making more money and having less stress, because you will know this very well, Flavia. In a lot of entrepreneurs that you talk about, the miserable millionaires are exactly that. They make money and they create growth at the expense of their own well-being, joy, and happiness. And so I bring together in this accelerator program, which runs for 6 months, the principles that allow you to scale your business effectively while also having the kind of mindset that comes from a place of abundance, so that you're not operating through fear and pain, which is a great detriment to living life fully. So that's something that I'm working on at the moment. It's my new baby. I'm really excited about it.
And how does somebody connect with you if they want to get more information about any of these programs you've talked about, or just to hear more from you in general?
Yeah. So the best way to connect with me is to go to my website. It's my first and my last name. So it's Mario, Mario, and then Lanzarotti, Lan as in November, Z as in zebra, AROTTI.com/welcome-LS. And that's where you find, you can watch my TEDx talk, which has almost 1 million views. I think we're going to reach that next week. There's a free training on how to make more money in half the time. And you can, if you want to talk to me, there's also a link to more information on that.
Love your last name, Mario Lanzarotti. That's fantastic. And truly, listeners, go and tune into Mario's channel. I mean, he's a TEDx speaker with nearly 1 million views. And I know from browsing through a lot of TEDx and TED speeches that to reach 1 million views means your message was impactful and was shared often and to a lot of people. So definitely check all of that out. Again, mariolanzarotti.com/welcome and then -LS. That's for us, Lifestyle Solopreneur. And Mario, it's been a fabulous pleasure to have you on the show. I hope to speak to you again soon. And I wish you the best on all of these great things you're working on.
Flavia, thank you so much for having me on your show. I think you're doing a phenomenal impact in the world, because we need more people that not just think about monetary growth, but also think about the wellness and the joy of living. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Guess what, lifestyle solopreneurs? If you don't yet have an online business earning you enough passive income to live the life of your dreams, I'd like to suggest you consider trying out Kajabi. Kajabi is an all-in-one solution where you can create and teach online courses, publish a paid newsletter, launch a free or paid podcast, process payments, build one-on-one coaching portals for your clients, and much, much more. I personally use Kajabi to power numerous successful and profitable online businesses. Lifestyle solopreneurs, there's a free trial of Kajabi waiting for you at this link, www.kfreetrial.com. You can try Kajabi for free, no obligation, by going to www.kfreetrial.com. Again, kfreetrial.com, and that K stands for Kajabi. Starting an online business helped me break free from that corporate grind, and I hope it does the same for you. You have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, and see you next time.